Right then, welcome back. And today we're going to have a little dabble on MotoGP 22. Now, the last MotoGP game that I played was probably in the late 90s. It's just when the graphics were starting to get really good and the Repsol Hondas were the boy. It was the very end of the two-stroke area, the start of the 994 stroke, so maybe it was the late 90s, early noughties. But anyway, MotoGP 22, decided to take the plunge and buy it, and it's different. It's certainly different. Ride 4 based engine, and I thought the first thing I'd do is give the tutorials a shot, because I'm not someone who believes that just because you can do one thing you can do another, and there's loads of tutorials. There are loads of tutorials, and my advice to you is, if you play Ride 4, is probably not to bother with the tutorials and just go and do a quick race with the AI set to whatever level you fancy and work it out from there, because the tutorials are horrendous. You can't turn anything off on certain ones, so you've got auto braking, auto steering. It is just not very good at all. I like the dashboard that they've put in the game in the bottom right corner with inner tyre temperature and left and right outer tyre temperature. You can see your brake temperatures, you can see all your electronic settings in one go. I'm a big fan. I am genuinely a big fan. But yeah, the tutorials were absolutely diabolical. I mean, bike control, complete a lap of the track. Okay, well, how about you let me do a lap of the track and then suggest some rider assist that maybe you want me to use, because it was just awful. It was braking way too early. It wasn't letting you turn. The bike feels like it weighs 9 tons and it's a Moto 3 bike. The turn rate, the yaw rate is absolutely disgusting. But yeah, it was frustrating. It wasn't very good. It just felt bleh, and I was very, very concerned that I'd maybe done the wrong thing in buying the game, and I just thought, what is going on? So I thought, well, it might just be that tutorial. It might just have been that one. I'll give a few more a go. And they were all, you've got to do one to unlock the other, and the Moto 3 bikes, the slowest class in MotoGP, but they are probably not far off a 600cc bike in ride, especially speed, top speed and sort of acceleration wise, handling wise. They are just unbelievable. But yeah, the new chicane at the Red Bull Ring in Austria was disgusting. I'm not quite sure what that's going to fix. And generally the lap was just an absolute montage of shithousery and me running wide and not being able to ride a motorbike apparently. And it was massively frustrating. I've seen a few people kicking off on the comments on a game when you buy it off the Xbox store, saying, why have you separated auto braking? Why have I now got to smash the A button to brake? It's the same as Ride 4 if you turn auto brakes off, so I don't have any worries with that. But yeah, rolling through the settings, roll mitigation, modulation. There's so many levels of electronics holding the bikes back when you first play the game that it feels absolutely disgusting. Graphics wise, is it as good as Ride 4? Yes and no. Physics wise, well, it's certainly different. I mean, trying to get through the snake at Kota, it should just be left, right, left, right, left, right, but the bike just does not want to turn. So I thought, well, I've had enough of that. I'm going to find one with a Moto 2 bike. So we ended up at Jerez on the Mark VDS bikes, and I'm playing a Sam Lowe, and I've got to overtake Tony Arbolino. Now the bikes sound beautiful. That triple sounds absolutely fantastic. Again, the bike pace-wise is probably comparable to a low-end 1000cc bike. The brakes are still shocking. There's obviously assists on all over the place. You get halfway around a corner and all of a sudden the bike wants to go hard left or hard right, even though you're not really changing the steering input or the lean angle. But the AI is managed. I mean, either Tony Arbolino has the weakest fingers and wrists in the world and can't use the brakes, or it's managed AI. I suspect the latter. We ran a bit wide because the brakes are another issue altogether. They just tend to stop working at a certain point, whereas I'm sure that's not how the brakes on a Moto 2, Moto 3 and MotoGP bikes work. But round the Jorge Lorenzo corner, turn 13, and we're in the lead, and we just had to be the first across the finish line, and we were. And it was still frustrating, it was still slow, it was still clunky, it didn't feel right. So I thought, well, if the AI's on easy and that's what it's doing, well, we'll bang it up to 50% because we don't want to start on 120. That's just absolutely ridiculous. We're going to start somewhere and we'll build it up. Bike damage, well, I'm not really care about bike damage at the minute. I'd rather finish a race than not finish a race. I thought, well, we'll give a MotoGP a try. A MotoGP, I can't put my teeth in this morning. A MotoGP bike a try. So we've got the ride height devices, it's got more power, and in all honesty, the handling of the bikes between the three classes initially is not very different. A Moto 3 bike weighs nothing. I've got trays that go in the oven that weigh more than a Moto 3 bike, so I expected a very different feel from the three classes of bike, and what I got was three bikes that handled basically the same. They were just a bit quicker. The sensor speed of a MotoGP bike is okay. The ride height device activation is using the Y button, which, okay, fair enough. Flashes when to tell you when to activate it. So we had to go round the Chang circuit, and it was like, well, what do? Do I make it manual, semi-automatic? I don't really know what the difference is because it doesn't tell you. There is no information to tell you what to do. And it was just a bit, well, I'm a bit lost. Do I go and do a championship? Do I do a race? What do I do? So I thought, well, I'll give it a race. I'll turn all the assists off that I don't think I need. We'll do a 7-lapper. We'll leave it on 50%. I'll start in 10th. I'll make it so it's dry, put tyre and fuel consumption on, and we'll just give it a go and see what happens. So we ended up on the Suzuki, which I think is the most balanced bike, at a track that I know. We went to Phillip Island. You get loads of Gucci little video cutscenes and commentary from the BT Sport MotoGP commentary team, and you can pick your tyre and you can do this and pick your brake discs, and there's so much to it that it's quite complicated rather than ride where you just go, oh, I'll use a soft tyre because I know I get the most grip. Bike setup wise, it's the same as ride. Essentially, there's just a few little things in there additionally that obviously the prototype bikes use. So I kind of stuck to what I know and ran a bit of a MotoGP setting, and just tried to apply the methodologies of setting up the Ride 4 settings, tried to apply the methodologies of setting up a bike on Ride 4 to this game, and just left it at that. I didn't do any practice, nothing. I just thought, well, I'll throw a setup in. It's on 50% AI, and we'll see where we go. And you get, again, nice little TV kind of cuts where everyone's going off the grid and people are talking and this, that, and the other. And where this Marshall goes is beyond me because there's no gap in that wall. He looks like he's got a lot of attitude. It looks like he goes to the gym a lot. And the one thing to remember when you're doing a bike race is to put it into gear. Yeah, kind of forgot that. So, ride eye device activated, we finally get it into gear, traction control anti-wheelie going absolutely mad, which again, everything's on 5 as we go through the race. I'll just try and turn things down and find where the bike wants to go. The AI are okay. Graphics wise, I was a little bit upset. They seem to have spent more time and money on heat haze and clouds than actually making the bikes look as pretty as I expected them to for a title that's been developed with the new console architecture floating about. So yeah, it was not a disappointment, it was just not what I expected it to be. I'm probably guilty of a lack of expectation management. At the end of the day, it's the same engine that Ride 4 is based on. So. But yeah, racing wise, well, same problems as Ride 4 really. You just got to find your AI level and work out where you want to be with it and try and get a little bit better. The race went okay. I mean, we fluffed the start and went down to what, 15th or 16th, and by the end of lap 1 we were back in first. The bikes respond in a slightly different way. You push the stick left or right to turn. I mean, you get on the brakes, you can pull massive stoppies apparently, But you get on the stick to move the bike left or right, and there seems to be almost a wave effect that you tip the bike into the left, and it washes out to the right a little bit initially. It's very strange. It's a little bit weird. It might be the electronics, it might be the settings. I'm just going to have to play with it. Like I said, we're only 25-30 minutes into turning the game on, and we're at Phillip Island in a MotoGP race. It wasn't without incident. The brakes are very strange. The brakes are going to take a lot of getting used to. Running wide at one corner means we missed the braking point for the hairpin at turn 4, which means we're running too deep into the long lap penalty area. And I was like, yeah, I think it's a game that may require you to hit targets rather than let you set the bike up and do what you want to do. But again, it's only the first race, so I don't want to be too harsh. I do like the fuel graphic where we know that we've saving fuel. I also like the tyre graphic, so you can see how much wear is on each side of the tyre. I don't know if asymmetric tyres are available. Again, I'm going to have to maybe look into it and develop it as we go through the career. But yeah, it's okay. It's different to Ride 4, obviously, but we're going to give it a go. I'll do the same as Ride 4. I'll share setups. I mean, we won that by nearly 14 seconds, so AI 50% is probably a little bit low. We might want to turn that up, but yeah, replay-wise, Michelin were obviously... Are these Michelins now? Yeah, they are Michelins, aren't they? They were obviously desperate to get involved. Are they Michelins? I thought they were Michelins or Pirellis. I don't know. I'll check that. But anyway, the tyre manufacturer, I'm sure they're Michelins. The tyre manufacturer was desperate to get involved, so the tyre graphics are disgusting as the bikes go flying down the straights and everything else. There's loads of different cameras available. Some of them are obviously just straight ports. I mean, look how bare that is. As a graphical entity, that is like a desert. There is nothing going on. That is just bland and flat and just... nah. Yeah, not great. But yeah, loads of different cameras. I had to flick through them, deciding which ones were good and bad and everything else. And I'm sure MotoGP bikes are a little bit more nicer to look at than that view gives you. But yeah, you've got in-cockpit, in-helmet, and the side of the fairing. If you're going to show up your graphics engine, let's put a camera that close to the bike, because I'm sure that'll be an absolute peach. But yeah, strange. Look, some good things, some bad things, some in-the-middle things. But like I said, we'll give it a go and we'll decide what we're going to do. Probably give it a go this weekend, actually. And do a few races and give you my thoughts and some feedback, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, everyone gets hugs and kisses in the Parc Ferme after the race, and we all celebrate how wonderful a rider I am. And well done, mate, you've beat the competition. And yeah, and we all get a hug, and I'm sure this will get very tiresome very quickly, so I'll probably skip most of them. But yeah, there we go. Ride 4 is probably still my favourite, but we'll give it a go. I'm sure the Ducati bloke shouldn't really be cheering me for winning, but yeah, I mean, that looks lovely. As a piece of kit, that is absolutely filthy. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me whinge about a game that I've not really played, and the fact that I don't really like it before I've played it. Yeah, oh well. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, and you're all absolute legends and legendesses and heroes, and fingers crossed I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, peace.